Yo, I'm back again, man. You already know who it is. Hey, man. Say, man, you already know what I'm finna say, man. You know, it's Guess Who, the reluctant YouTuber back again. You know what I'm saying? AKA the Grand Ambassador Flesh Dynasty, lacing your brain once again with this incredible and glorious game, man. And lately, I've been getting a lot of, not a lot of, but a few people in my circle be asking me what I think about the P. Diddy trial and the whole P. Diddy case. And, you know, did he do it or did he not do it? Yo, it's just crazy, bro. Because, first of all, I don't even know. The only thing I know is that they're trying to charge him with sex trafficking, RICO charges, racketeering, whatever. What does RICO mean again? Hold on. This RICO definition. This is what RICO mean. Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act. RICO, Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, is a federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil case of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. It was enacted to combat organized crime, targeting individuals and organizations that engage in quote-unquote pattern of racketeering activity. What's racketeering? What is that? Let's see. I never even looked this up. Racketeering meaning. Racketeering is a set of illegal activities aimed at commercial profit that may be disguised as legitimate business deals. Racketeering is defined by a coordinated effort by multiple people to repeatedly earn a profit, typically by fraud, extortion, bribery, threats, violence, or other illegal means. You know, like what the mob do. Show up to your mom and pop store and say, we offer you protection for, for a small fee. Yeah, 60% of your intake, we'll split it 60-40, our favor. I guess that's what racketeering mean. And then they switched, they're not saying that they switched it, but for individuals, maybe like a crime boss or members of the organization. RICO. Now, first of all, they're running the same play that they do all the time with black people. Black men, I should say, first and foremost, it's black men they targeting with this. They did the same thing with Bill Cosby. Look, remember, I said this in the earlier video. The ING in the word going stands for I'm not going. I never went for when they was accusing Bill Cosby of being and changing him into being Bill Cosby and all of that, because I know who I'm dealing with. I've been studying these people, the powers that be, since I was 7 years old. I never went for that. I knew it was propaganda. I knew it was a smear campaign, and really was a public lynching in front of black people, and getting black people to go along with it. But me, the ING in the word going, and the ING on my PNP stands for I'm not going. I never went, and I'm not going now. I didn't go for Bill Cosby, saying he did something to some women back when Moses parted the Red Sea, or back when, like Sinful the P used to say, back when Jesus was crucified and gave her a pill 30 years ago. And here it is, you gonna charge this man on an accusation. Bro, locked them up. And a lot of black people cheered, just like they did for Barabbas and Yahusha, you know what I mean? Or Jesus Christ, what his name in this language, in English, Jesus Christ, who's a black man. Niggas did that back then, and niggas did it today. Black people did it today. And who did they use? The black woman. To get them to side with them. But not just black women, black men even jumped on that bandwagon. And I was shocked because I feel like they don't know their enemy. Like, it's the art of war. You don't know your enemy? You know what I'm saying? Then they go to R. Kelly. They had on trial, they had R. Kelly on trial for a pilot show that they was putting together with fabricated information called Surviving R. Kelly. They did this in front of everybody. Made up these false accusations, started raiding that man's house, started invading his privacy, started making illicit and explicit claims that he was holding these women hostage and destroying his credibility. Why? You know what I'm saying? So they lied on him. The girls in court told the judge and them that they lied. Told them they lied. But it didn't matter because the lawyers and them couldn't defend the RICO case. 30 years. He's sitting doing 30 years. They did that to Bill Cosby, but had to let him go. They should let R. Kelly go. If due process and y'all was following the Constitution and all of that, he would have never been in there. Neither one of them. But that's a play that they do this to all our black celebrities by destroying the legacy. They did it to Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, even her daughter. You know what I'm saying? Now they did it to Bill Cosby. If they can't get you up out of here, they take some time, get you for some money, and then take your time away from you and get you off. Then get your catalog or whatever, your intellectual property, whatever you done, and then they still reap off the benefits from what you have produced in your said career. They got R. Kelly. A lot of people gonna get mad at me for saying free R. Kelly. You should say it too, because what they're proving to you is that they can violate your rights, violate habeas corpus, bypass the Constitution when it comes to due process, and go off a simple accusation, try you in the court of public opinion, which they control because they control all the media outlets, all the channels, all the newspapers, all the social media, all online presence, and they can use what they call the Hegelian dialectic or propaganda. They believe in propaganda. They do this. This ain't nothing new, but a lot of people are asleep. You know what I'm saying? And they are sheeple. They're mainstream thinkers. They don't think outside of the box. And even worse, they don't think for themselves. Somebody else is doing the thinking for them. They don't do no research. They just go off the headline and what these talking heads are saying about a particular people. A lot of y'all probably offended, especially about R. Kelly. Y'all offended. And if you think that's something, what I'm going to say about P. Diddy probably really going to get you offended. Because this ain't for everybody. This only for the remnant. Shout out to Andre Taylor. You know what I mean? Gorgeous Dre. I'm part of the remnant. You know what I'm saying? So majority of y'all might get offended for hearing me say this stuff. You might get offended. Because a lot of y'all fell for this. You fell for Bill Cosby. Why did they get Bill Cosby? He was trying to buy a TV network or something like that. And them powers that be was like, over our dead body. There will be no black presence up in here. There will be no black power owning no radio, no TV station in here. So what they do, they demonized them, had a public lynching in front of our own people, and we just cheered them on. That's what we did, and they sent him to jail. I don't know how many years he did, but they sent him to jail, but then let him out because he wasn't supposed to be in there in the first place. He didn't do nothing. Now, if you look on YouTube, you see all his old reruns of, his syndication of the Cosby Show. That was disrespectful. Turned his name from Bill to Bill Cosby. When you got all these heavy metal rock groups that probably slept with mad women, drugged them, slapped them around, all of that, beat them up, and all of that. Woody Allen dating his own daughter, all of these weird claims that they have for all these white people. I heard they getting ready to let Harvey Weinstein out. You know what I'm saying? And these people, you don't see white celebrities going down like this every single time. That should be obvious. Back to who y'all call him P. Diddy. We from his era. Puff. That's Puff. You know what I mean? Puff Daddy. You know what I mean? Puffy. You know what I'm saying? What they doing to Puff. But I'm going to say Diddy because that's what y'all say. That corny. That's a name that Big and them came up with him. You know what I mean? Diddy. He ran with it. Now, come on. Anyway, Diddy. Did he do it or did he not do it? The answer is no. Why did they go after Diddy? That video with Cassie, him, giving her a haircut. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't condone that. He shouldn't have did that, but he did that a long time ago. Ain't no telling what they was doing and hitting each other. They was probably hitting each other. But that was a long time ago. Nevertheless, that wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? But should he be charged and go to jail for something he did years ago? Anyway, it ain't like he murdered somebody, like statutes of limitation, or molested a child or something like that. They had a domestic dispute, a domestic argument. On top of that, she got paid for it. That is crazy. That shows you, that's crazy, yo. That's crazy, man. They was able to extract millions. They tell you they come for your money. Where was that when it happened? Where was this? And she stayed with him. That don't count for nothing? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Why did they go after P. Diddy? Let's ask my brother. The only one that I know that has said what I have said and think like how I think, right? That I know on YouTube or online on social media. Everybody else is engaged in this verbal crucifying this man and don't even know if he's guilty or innocent. They took out the word innocent and replaced it with not guilty. Y'all don't even know why they did that. But anyway, watch this. Look at this. I'm going to show you why they went after P. Diddy or Diddy. Let's ask Umar Johnson. Umar, why they go after P. Diddy? Why did they do that?
They want to completely destroy Sean Puffy Combs publicly and financially because this could have very easily been state charges. And as you know, the feds have a 97% conviction rate. Somebody wants Sean Puffy Combs completely destroyed. And I think I know who it is. I believe it is Diageo. It is the British-based liquor company that Puffy was doing business with. They're one of the biggest liquor companies in the world. They market and sell some of the most popular brands of liquor, including Ciroc. And Diddy had an agreement with them where they would help him market his daily owned tequila brand. Diageo got upset with Puff. They said, you done already made $1 billion off of us. How dare you sue us and try to make a few more billion off of us? Diageo and Puff settled out of court in January. Puffy's homes are raided in March. They want to completely destroy Sean.
Did y'all hear that? The same thing I said. That beef he had with the liquor company, he just gave it more context and everything, and and called the names out. With that liquor company, Diego, with Ciroc and all them, he was calling them racist and all that, and took them to court, settled out of court. Settled out of court in January, house raided in March. Y'all remember that. But before that, or even, I think even before that or after that, the Cassie thing came out. You know what I'm saying? The lawsuit for Cassie. Look, I told my man Itnam at the time, I was like, yo, son, look. This is before the Cassie, any of this. It's back when they first, with the liquor company thing, and that came out. I say he in trouble. He don't see what's getting ready to happen. This before anything happened. He had the beef with that company. Bro, son. Look, man. I told him. I said, look, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I said, yo, look. He on his way to prison. He on his way to jail. This is about a year or 2 years ago, probably a year and a half ago. I said, he on his way to prison. He understood it, but he said, why you say that? So he can, he was thinking the same way, or definitely receptive to the information. He was like, yo, what's up? Why you say that? And I was like, yo, you don't see what they did to Bill Cosby? You don't see what they did to R. Kelly? You didn't see what they tried to do to Russell Simmons? I said, he better do. I was like, look, if I could have talked to R. Kelly back then, I would have told R. Kelly, yo, what's up? It's up. It's over. Leave. Do the Russell Simmons. You got to go, son. It's over. It's a wrap. Get out of the country. Go somewhere where you can't be extradited, unextraditable. It's a wrap. They coming for you. It's over. They gonna cook you. You know what I'm saying? I said to him, I said, this is why. I said, look, you got that beef or whatever. And I said exactly what they was going to do. I said they're going to come after him with some old chick or something, going to come up with some sort of weird accusation or whatever, or some sort of violence or whatever, or he did something sexually to them and violated them, and they're going to go after his money. That's the first thing they're going to do. Then they're going to come up with charges behind that same thing. I told him the whole layout. And then they're going to use public opinion to crucify him, to make sure, to soften us up for what they really after. You think they after Puff and just black people? I'm a prove to you, they ain't just after them. But we are public enemy number one. So they got to get us first. You know what I'm saying? I said, he got to go. It's up. It's over. It's over. He better call Russell Simmons, find out where he at, and join him. Liquidate your stuff, get you and your family the F out of here, or you on your way to prison. And when you go to prison, ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Why? Because you use their business model on how to conduct with your artists and your friends or your artists. And when you do go to prison, ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you. They all gonna have their pom-poms cheering that you are in prison. You're gonna become the Diddy monster. Now he come out with Jaguar Wright, Gene Deal, but Gene been doing, Gene been saying stuff. So because they, disgruntled, and they have a right to be. With my man Mark Curry, all of them, because look at look at Bad Boy. They're number one. Let's start with their first artist, I believe was, let's say Craig Mack. Craig Mack, he's dead. They had their little fallout off it, I think, right after his first album, for whatever reason. Big, he's dead. There was discrepancy, people saying he ain't releasing his publishing and stuff like that. He's dead. They saying he moved wrong on that, in that situation. Now they trying to tie him into the Tupac thing. You know what I'm saying? Gene and I wasn't there, but I don't be believing it. You know what I mean? About him having Tupac eliminated. I don't believe that. But it could potentially be true, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Puff built like that, you know what I mean, to be doing that type of stuff. But anyway, let's just look at the artists. Let's go down the list. Faith Evans, Carl Thomas, Total, bro. Total was, look, I love Total. Their music is dope. I love Total, man. Like, Total, oh, man. Give me all the chicken heads from Pasadena to Medina, big get it between you, then see ya. You know what I mean? I love Total. It seemed like their careers didn't really get off the ground like that. 112, you know what I'm saying? Seems like they fell flat. Carl Thomas, Faith Evans. Now we can get to the rappers. Big, Craig Mack, G Depp went to jail, went to prison, even though G Depp said he don't got no problem with Puff or whatever, and wanted to work with him when he got out. Shout out, welcome home to G Depp. Black Rob. Yeah, man. R.I.P. to Black Rob, man. Black Rob used to come up here to Newburgh, used to be in the jungle where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Black Rob. R.I.P. Black Rob. We love Black Rob, man. Especially us here in Newburgh, man. Used to come to the Mullins, man. That's the jungle, man. We in the Kenny and the Mullins where I'm from is the jungle, man. Shout out to Black Rob. G Depp, prison. Loon goes to prison. Like, what's going on with this bad boy, the curse of the bad boy? You know, bad boy curse or whatever. Loon goes to prison. Little Kim, even though she's not bad boy, but she was affiliated with Big, and she in jail. And anyway, let's keep going. Loon, y'all remember this? The Locks on the radio station. First they had us free us, and then they went back up there for a second time with Angie Martinez and all of that, arguing with Puff, calling them, you know, a thief and all of that stuff on the radio. That's when Jada was like, you know, I'm gonna push this refrigerator, you know what I'm saying? And let it land on you type, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Talking about, yo, Jada was like, what is this then? If it's not robbery, what is it? What do you call this? You know, I know we signed on the dotted line, but nigga, what you do to it? What's good? Why'd you release our publishing, bro? You making more money off of it than we are. Like, come on, son. You know, like, no. So Janet, the Locks, Jada, Kiss, Styles P, Sheek Loose, they ain't gonna feel sorry for you. And let's go to the number 2, man. Mace, M-A$E. Mason Bet, Cameron John. You use that business model, and he was one of your main partners out of there. You know what I'm saying? You didn't relinquish his publishing. Man, utilizing typical, you know, standardized 360 deals, whatever you was doing, contractually, not treating your artists right. That's why people ain't gonna feel sorry for you, and they might wind up giving him 70 years, and nobody, or might give him an eternity in that correctional facility for a word called eternity. Ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for him. Nobody. Because there's what y'all call it karmic baggage. I call it harvest time. You may be reaping that which you have sown in a whole nother land, and you reaping a different type of, you reaping the crop of what you sown. It's just in a different lane. No, you ain't no a sex trafficker. No, you're not guilty of RICO, of what they're saying that you're guilty of. They're using you as a vendetta and an opportunity to make muscular moves to violate the rights of all citizens, all of us. They doing that to violate all of us. But these weak-minded people and these mainstream sheeple, stupid, retarded people go for are going for the public lynching, smiling like that little white girl was smiling when they had that lynching of that black man and he was hanging. And you know, you saw the little white girl smiling. That's a black girl smiling of white people lynching a black man. That she's no longer white. She's black now. That's something, yo. That little girl in that picture, I wish I could find that picture. If I could find it, right? That little girl in that picture, that little white girl in that picture smiling. Hold up. Picture of white girl smiling while black man being lynched. See this picture, y'all? Here it go right here. Hold on. Here it go right here. It's a little blurry. They trying to blur it up. Look. Y'all know about this picture. See that white girl right there smiling? And the black man being lynched right there? This girl now is black. That's black women. And some black men mingled in all this watching this, who had just so happened to be Michael Jackson, Prince, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, now P. Diddy or Diddy, or what Jaguar Wright call him, the diddler. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. See, even while I'm doing videos, my man dude's calling. No, I'll call him back. So, what I'm saying is, hold on. Let me tell him I'll call him right back. All right. I'll call him right back. Yo, so the diddler, you know what I'm saying? So that's what they changed it into now. Bro, you gotta be, yo, this is crazy, yo. So they're utilizing this so-called kangaroo court case. They don't even give you no live footage like they did in the OJ case and stuff no more. They just putting up pictures and giving you all this explicit and illicit sexual freak party information. Nothing to really do with RICO or sex trafficking. But we all know who the real sex traffickers are, or the real human traffickers are. How you think we got to this country? This country was built on RICO, charges of RICO. Since y'all want to go back 30 and 40 and 50 years of some of our artists of what y'all say that they did, we got documentation of what y'all really did. But that's neither here nor there. Because guess what? That's what they on. Look how stupid this sounds. Look at this. This is what I was just looking at. I want y'all to tell me where the freaking where is the RICO? Where is it? Like where is it? Where's the RICO? Like P. Diddy trial. As soon as you put up the P. Diddy trial, you come up with this. I ain't even been watching because I already know what it's all about. They really just what Umar Johnson said, they want to completely wipe him out and destroy him and eliminate and bypass the Constitution right in your face and eliminate due process and all of that. Now they could just violate you on a simple accusation. Look at this. Watch this. No, I ain't gonna play the whole thing. But look at this. Look at this. All about freak parties and bringing up Kid Cudi and them, and this has nothing to do with it. Hold on.
Right now, we want to transition as we are following the very latest of the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. It takes us out to the Big Apple, giving you a beautiful skyline shot there in New York City. Sean Diddy Combs will return to court today as his sex trafficking trial resumes after the holiday weekend. This after rapper Kid Cudi wrapped up his testimony last week. Fox 5 New York's Briella Tomasetti joining us live this morning outside of the Manhattan Federal Courthouse with the very latest details. Briella, good morning.
Good morning to you, Gina. And when court resumes at around 9:30 this morning, another one of Diddy's former personal assistants, Capricorn Clark, is set to testify. And she could be a really A key witness for the prosecution, backing up for a moment to last week, rapper Kid Cudi testified that Clark called him in December of 2011 to warn him that Diddy had forcibly entered his house after learning that he had been dating Cassie Ventura. When Cudi got there, he alleged Diddy was nowhere in sight. Instead, he said someone had opened the Christmas presents he bought for his family and locked his dog in the bathroom, which then prompted him to call police. A few weeks later, Cudi says his convertible was set on fire while it was parked in his driveway. A police report from the time indicates that Cudi's convertible was indeed set on fire by an incendiary device. So this was back in early 2012, but Diddy was never linked to the incident. Cudi told jurors he met with Diddy at a Los Angeles hotel to try and smooth things over, but Diddy denied any involvement. The jury also heard from a makeup artist on Thursday who corroborated some of Cassie's domestic violence allegations. She said Diddy assaulted Cassie after the 2010 Grammy Awards, leaving the singer with a swollen eye and a busted lip. Later, the general manager of a hotel that Diddy frequented in Beverly Hills testified that Diddy stayed there under aliases such as Frank White and Frank Black, names Cassie says he often used when checking in for freak-offs. Now, the judge hopes that this trial will conclude by July 4th, but the prosecution says it needs at least 4 more weeks to present its case against Diddy. So factoring in those 4 weeks, about another month, and then the jury having to convene and come to a verdict, this trial could obviously take a bit longer than that. Certainly complicated factors to add into the equation. Jeanne, that's the latest we have live here in Lower Manhattan. We'll send it back to you.
Definitely great points you bring up this morning, Briella, and it further adds to the viewers wanting to know if they might in fact get some surprise witnesses. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye. Always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for the detailed breakdown. You and your team have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Did y'all hear that hot mess, man? That foolishness, man? That 2012, an incendiary device hit Kid Cudi's car because he was dating Cassie. Yo, where's the sex trafficking at? Where's the racketeering at? They enacted this act, which is not even law. It's corporate policy. That's too deep for y'all. I ain't even gonna go down that rabbit hole. But where's the sex trafficking? He having freak parties. Is that a crime? No, it's not a crime. Yo, did y'all hear how long this could keep going on and all of that? Y'all don't even know all of us are being played right in our face. They keeping this story going on. They probably passing legislations and executive orders, taking your rights right away from you, because they are flooding the media. It's sort of like a media blackout of what they really doing behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Up in these meetings, taking your rights away and getting legislation and executive orders passed while we sitting here watching Diddy. I ain't watching that. You know what I mean? Because I already know what it's about. There is no sex trafficking. There's no racketeering. This is all a bunch of gossip girl, Wendy Williams, Tasha K type stuff going on right now. Man, this junk is ridiculous. And they're violating that man's due process. Got him in jail. How did that even happen? Habeas corpus. Where's the body? Like, Cassie got paid already. She shouldn't even got paid off of some. She stayed with him, cheated on him. Look, let me not even get into that, because a lot of people gonna get offended from that. What is really going on? What's the end game of doing these public lynchings to black people first? Public enemy number one. I'm going to show y'all how long I've been studying this. You want to go in the past and look up something? This is what they've been doing. Hold on. I had this. I hope I could find it. Hold on. Check this out.
They are using all kinds of symbology as part of their operation.
Hold on. Oh, what they do? Silence it? Hold on. Hold on. Let me get this video for y'all. And then I'm gonna shut it down for right now, because you already know my stance with. You already know my stance is the same as Umar Johnson's. Shout out to Umar Infatude. Look. Hold on.
But on your streets,
What signs that you read in the press and things that you hear in the media tell you about what's coming next? And I submit that though most of it is disinformation, as you all know,
Hold on.
a significant percentage of that disinformation will tell you, if you understand how to read it, what's coming. So we knew by the middle of last year that there was going to be probably something called a Reichstag fire episode.
Hold on. I'm gonna let her say this a little bit. This is what they be doing. These are setup plays to deceive the masses into accepting you, the giving of your rights in favor of tyranny. Watch this.
you can be very proud of the progress which has been made in the last
This back in Clinton era.
couple of years, not just here in Washington with the crime bill, the assault weapons ban, and the Brady law, but on your streets.
What signs that you read in the press and things that you hear in the media tell you about what's coming next? And I submit that though most of it is disinformation, as you all know, a significant percentage of that disinformation will tell you, if you understand how to read it, what's coming. So we knew by the middle of last year that there was going to be probably something called a Reichstag fire episode. And those of you who know about Nazi history probably understand that that means an explosive political episode, terrorist episode, calculated to buffalo the people into accepting the giving up of their rights. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that throughout the 20th century, most totalitarian regimes have come into place through the voluntary acquiescence of the people. Surprisingly enough, more liberty is lost through the ballot box than through tanks. So what you have to understand is, what are the signs, what are the kinds of techniques that are used to create these episodes? We figured by the middle of last year there was going to be a Reichstag fire, there was going to be an episode calculated to try to catapult the American people into a state of panic where they would give up their freedom in favor of tyranny.
Did y'all hear that? They'll scare you. Like with the 9/11 thing, and then with the COVID thing, they'll frighten you so you can get you all riled up for security and give up your liberties and your freedoms in favor of tyranny. You'll give your freedoms up in favor of tyranny to a totalitarian regime. Y'all probably saying, what that got to do with P. Diddy? Watch this. Watch this. Hold on.
The Ark and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It wasn't lost. It was
Hold
just
on.
hidden amid.
Hold on. I'm gonna play this.
It just deals with foreigners.
Watch this. They have an end game. Hold on. They have an end game. Hold on. They have an end game. This the end game. This is what they're doing right now. They've been planning this for a long time. This is back in the early 90s. Now, watch this.
Following orders. Orders from the Faustian financial fraternity that controls this country.
Now, people
Hold on, let
will
me turn
tell
this light
you,
on.
senators and congressmen will tell you not to worry. This bill just deals with foreigners. It's an anti-abuse of the immigration code bill, and it's calculated to get people like the Palestine Liberation Organization terrorists, or the IRA, out of our country. Don't believe it. The language of the bill is deviously clever.
But this court sits, and it's never been used. If a foreign national was arrested, picked up, came in here on any charges, he can be taken before this secret court. And I don't even like the sound of that. That kind of sends a chill up my spine.
The bill was so repulsive on its face that the man assigned the task of introducing it, Senator Biden, gagged as he introduced it.
Senator who? Let's go.
He said in the congressional record that the bill, he was doing it because the president commanded him to do it, but that he was severely troubled by the bill because of the use of secret tribunals and the loss of liberty that it represented.
The UN Secretary General, Kofi Annan, who is being described in some newspapers as a man of peace. He and the United Nations want an international criminal court not to prosecute the communists, not the Chinese communists, but instead an international criminal court that could go after people like us. An international criminal court that could imprison Americans in foreign jails and put us on trial for judges from Communist China, Iraq, Libya, North Korea. This is the plan. And the charges against us could include genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, even the crime of aggression, whatever that may mean.
Certainly those who had prior knowledge about the World Trade Center attack
Hold on, let me forward him.
would be
No.
guilty of murder if they didn't act upon it. Did Baby Bush and his administrators
Hold
of
on.
the Council on Foreign Relations know
I'll let it play.
that this is going to happen? Evidence supports that. It's all over the place. We have in excess of 200 stories on our website, Free World Alliance, supporting this thesis. But do you hear it on the major managed media? No, you hear a call for a war. People are saying we've got to go out and get those bastards. We've got to level them. But there's no trial. There's no evidence. There's a conviction by the President of the United States, just like there was a conviction by the President of Germany, the Fuhrer of Germany. As it was under Adolf Hitler, so it shall be under George Bush.
But Kofi Annan, the man of peace, and the UN don't want to prosecute them. No. They want to prosecute Americans for war crimes.
Come on.
We are on a fast track right now to the establishment of what I consider to be the most dangerous global institution we have ever witnessed or conceived. The International Criminal Court. President Clinton is strongly pushing it.
What this bill does is it sets the concept of due process of law and liberty back about 1,000 years.
This would be an international tribunal composed mostly of judges from foreign countries, including any member in good standing of the UN, Iraq, North Korea, Libya, Iran. They could also supply judges for this International Criminal Court who would have no respect whatsoever for our constitutional rights. Because consider this. The 7th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution affirms a right to trial by jury. There will be no jury trials before this International Criminal Court.
Come on.
None at all. We will be judged by the foreigners, including from terrorist and communist states.
When I talk to you a little bit more about what this bill really means,
This is a bill.
remember, it's you or your neighbor or the person down the street that they're talking about treating in the manner that I'm describing.
Watch this, y'all.
Right? Let's suppose that the lady in the front row in the black sweater is sitting at home one evening and there's a knock at the door and the INS comes and says, we're going to arrest you as a terrorist agent representative of a terrorist organization. And she says, first of all, well, how do I know that I represent a terrorist organization? And they'll say, because the President of the United States has determined which organizations are terrorist and which are not. And then she might say, well, what makes you think I'm their agent? And they'll say, because the Attorney General says that you are. And furthermore, there's no appeal of that determination. We say you are, therefore you are. Come with us, ma'am. And she says, well, just a minute, let me get my purse. The key element for ladies of your ID or the wallet if you're a man. And they say, no, ma'am, we don't have time for that. Off you go. She is then locked up in a detention facility. Her lawyer doesn't get a phone call. Unlike the Nazi bills, her family isn't notified. There is no bond. There is no hearing to release her. She sits there until the process is done. While she sits in this jail cell, a secret hearing is held in the judge's chambers. In camera is the term for it. Ex parte. That means one side only is represented. She has no lawyer present. Her lawyer doesn't know she's gone, let alone the hearing is taking place. A representative of the Department of Justice hands the judge a series of documents and says, this is why we want this lady out. She's an alien. Again, as I said, it could be a sovereign. It could even be a mistake if it turns out that they've transposed a name or pretending that she's an alien, because after all, she doesn't have the ability to even get a hold of her handbag to prove that she's not. All this is going on while she's locked up, and perhaps her family has no idea where she is. They provide documents that they say, because of national security, in quotes, can't be released. And the judge signs an order, rubber stamp, okay, throw her out. The next phase under this proceeding is that she is to be deported to a country that will take her that is acceptable to the United States State Department.
Whoa.
Now, the trick here is that that's a double-barreled test that only the government controls. If they can't find anybody acceptable to the government who will take her, guess what happens? She stays in jail. Guess how long? Forever. That's right, forever. All the government has to do at that point under this bill is to send her a notice every 6 months saying, sorry, Charlie, we haven't found a country acceptable to the State Department that will take you. This ranks as the most reprehensible piece of legislation I have ever seen. Now, the catch is that when the Nazis passed stuff like this, they conducted polls, because generally, even totalitarians would prefer not to provoke a revolution. So the key issue now is, and I realize sometimes people say writing to Congress does no good, but this time it's going to count. The key issue now is, can we generate enough public opinion, enough public perception to stop this juggernaut, to scare the politicians, to make them realize that this is not the moment to wrap up the Constitution and burn up the Bill of Rights.
There will be an all-out assault upon your liberties.
Wait a minute.
But you have to surrender that.
Hold on. There's one last part. Here, watch this.
Will you buy into it?
We have to make it abundantly clear to these turkeys that we will not stand for this, that we are not buying this game, that we are not good Germans, and that we demand our rights.
Hold on. That was it. Oh, I think that was it. Hold on.
They were doing it wrong. They were.
Hold on.
FBI.
George Bush and the entire New World Order, Nazi, fascist, totalitarian dictatorship that these people have been planning for this country for
Jordan
a long
Maxwell.
time. And my suggestion, if I were being asked my opinion as to what we might want to do, my suggestion is this: don't ever give up your firearms.
The same FBI that helped the terrorists blow up the World Trade Center the first time, they built the bomb. They got the driver's license. It's all in testimony. It's available. Anybody that wants to see it, you can get the trial transcripts and find out that the FBI helped. The same FBI that's we've raked across the coals for years in the magazine for ineptness when their own chemists, when their own doctors, when their own lab technicians came forward and said they were doing it wrong. They were framing people. They figured out did it almost instantly.
It's the CIA.
All right, anyway.
Army of individuals.
That's enough. Why did I show y'all that? Did y'all hear everything that was said in that video? How they're forming an international criminal court where you would be prosecuted and judged by foreigners, that you can be judged by foreigners, meaning you could be shipped to different countries and different prisons. Is that not familiar today? That ain't Trump getting ready to send repeated offenders or prisoners in general from the United States over into foreign countries? These are the beginnings of the... Look, the plan is not in its infancy stage. The introducing it to the masses is in its infancy stage as they progressively introduce it to you by publicly destroying these figures in your face, getting you to sign on and to, like she said, totalitarian regimes, a lot of liberties, a lot of civil liberties and freedoms are done away via the ballot box more than through tanks. So they introducing it in a process called gradualism. So they're gradually, slowly introducing you to, seducing you with this public media propaganda game into the tenets of what they call back then. You know, who knows what it's called now? That was back in like 91 for the Alpha P. Murrah building in Oklahoma City. But they were doing that in the reflection and response to the 9/11 back in 2001. That's like 24 years ago. That's a long time ago. Who knows what it's doing now? But the tenets of the International Criminal Court engages in this. They're giving them crazy crimes, trumping up charges, getting them excommunicated or transported out of the country, being judged by foreigners from terroristic and communist countries under the United Nations, the UN, and slowly introducing policies that are wrapping up and balling up, like balled up homework, the Constitution and your Bill of Rights, and Kobe, Jordan and them, and LeBron and them in the nearest trash can. Puff is being Sean Puffy Combs, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, all these people. They begin with us. Who you think they're going to be treating like that? They said if they can't find... Look, when it gets to this point where they could just label you, like they're just labeling Puff a human trafficker or a sex trafficker, accusing him, naming him organized crime syndicate. They're naming him that. We all know he's not that. But y'all gonna sign on to it because y'all don't like him. Y'all gonna sign on to it, and ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for him. Even the artists, they ain't gonna feel sorry for him. I don't blame them for that. But right is right and wrong is wrong. Violating that man's due process. Where's the body? Did he murder somebody? He had somebody killed. Where's the body? They trying to link him to... Anyway, with no proof, no evidence. Where's the evidence? Where's the blood? Where's the blood on his hands? They're publicly crucifying him, giving him a public lynching, violating due process. It's almost like a secret tribunal, but it's very deceptive. Because yeah, they not putting them cameras out like they did with OJ, and they don't have to. They giving out pictures and all of that. You know what I mean, for this so-called high-profile case. Meanwhile, making a muscular move of implementing these tenets. You see Trump talking about sending prisoners to foreign countries. Have y'all ever heard that before? I have. You know how long I heard about it? Since 2001, when that documentary came out. Illuminati 911. Illuminati. N-A-Z-I 911. Anthony J. Hilder, Jordan Maxwell, R.I.P. Jordan Maxwell. They are introducing legislation. You heard her say that Joe Biden was a senator at the time, and he read it and he gagged. He was like, oh my God, what is this legislation? Before, right at the beginning of the video where I played that, was y'all had Bill Clinton there. talking about taking your guns off the street with the Brady law, assault weapons ban, so you could feel safe on the street. No, they want to get rid of your gun, so when they come through, you don't have no way to defend yourself. They call it gun control. That's why they're making the felonization of us, so where we can't own no gun. Why? What the gun got to do with? Oh, it could be linked to crime. Look, man. Long story short, get back to Puff or P. Diddy or Diddy or the Diddler. They got y'all waving your pom-poms, cheering on the execution of a man and violating this man's rights right in front of you, and you going along with it, not knowing that they really after you. They're not after him, just him. They're after you. Now, if somebody could say anything about you, pull your behind in court, or no, pull your behind in jail. You got to fight for bail. You ain't got no money. Then they can really implement the rest of the tenets of the International Criminal Court and the legislation that gives that idea life. And they then begin to put in action. And the police come knock at your door, say you belong to a organized crime unit, like or organized syndicate, like they saying Puff is. That's one. That's one thing she pointed out that we could find a similarity to. Two, they can have you without bail. You can't talk to your lawyer. Yeah, he could talk to his lawyer now, but it's coming to a point where by the time it get to us, you ain't gonna be able to talk to your lawyer. They're gonna say, well, I'm not part of a criminal organization. I ain't do none of these things. You are, because we have determined what kind of actions say you are. If you fly a girl out and y'all wind up having sex, they trying to say that that's sex trafficking, when they're the real sex traffickers. And they're trafficking little children, but I ain't going to get into all of that. They trying to do that, calling us pedophiles and all of that to hide for what they're the real pedophiles, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is another reason why I was reluctant to be a YouTuber. I call myself the reluctant YouTuber because I have to give out information like this. It's like God is pouring His Spirit upon me to share this information with you. This is the type of stuff that I had to learn since 7 years old, all throughout my life, and held on to it, periodically, but it's really coming out with force now. You know what I'm saying? So now, P. Diddy, trial by jury. Now that been gone as far as having a jury of your peers. You know what I mean? You'll be having jurors from people from your neighborhood that you ain't even from, or people that is totally against you. They might have a whole bunch of black women there and got Cassie in the front. You know what I mean? And it might be white women and black women making this a whole spectacle of him being an abuser. Not bringing up the fact that when they was having these freak parties or whatever, that's not a crime and that's personal. She enjoyed it. They leaving out that part. She enjoyed, and on top of that, she got paid already. How she got paid, I could see how. They cheated him. You know what I'm saying? They're after his money. After that liquor company thing, they showing you they can do whatever they want with you. They built you, they made you so they can break you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I showed y'all that, because that's what's coming. And that's what y'all cheering on. Y'all cheering on down with Puff. And y'all subscribe to this. This one I knew, I was like, man, it's almost over for all of us, man. Because they got the main target, which is us, the public enemy, to sign on to doing our people dirty. You notice ain't no heavy metal rock and rollers or no old school white singers in being brought and dragged into court like this at the rate that we are. You notice that? And then our own people be signing on to this. Then once we sign on to it, since we're the people of influence, the rest of the nationalities or ethnicities start following on to it, i.e. white people, Hispanic people, African people, Caribbean people. Then they start joining in. When y'all started doing this, I was like, first of all, I ain't never said it, and I ain't with it. When y'all started saying no Diddy, I was like, I said, they're gone. They bought it. They bought it. They bought their own destruction, even with that. Nobody said no Diddy before. You know what's funny? These people, these powers that be, really are thinking for you. You don't think for yourself. I've never said no Diddy. Never. Because I knew what they were doing. I knew that they wanted to publicly massacre, crucify him. Yeah, and lynch him. I knew why, because of the liquor company fallout. And I also know why, because of their real agenda is to get us all. We're utilizing a few people, a handful of people, black people. They want to get us all. Violators for our rights. You hear, I've never heard of prisoners being sent to foreign countries now. I never even heard of that in the space of on TV. But I've always knew of his existence because of I'm a truth seeker, and I saw that eons ago, 24 years ago, or whenever that documentary came out, 20 plus years ago. Bro, y'all cheering on P. Diddy, man, saying no Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like saying pause or no homo. Call him a homosexual. And y'all call him a homosexual. What dude did he sleep with? You know what I mean? Did he sleep with anybody? And y'all would say, oh, you just caping for Puff or whatever. No, it's the truth. Think for yourself. You're not thinking. No Diddy. That's an indication that they have branded your mind with their thinking, with their propaganda, what they wanted. So now, once you minimize them, dehumanize them, or denigrate them, I'll use denigrate because I don't like that word human. Once you denigrate them, now how they can treat him, however they want to treat him, and you'll go along with it. Because you'll say he's an animal, he's a sex trafficker, he's a he molests women, you know what I mean? He essay women, you know what I mean? Like y'all buy into stuff like that, man. Me, I'm not going. This is the type of reason why I ain't want to become a YouTuber, because I gotta really give it to y'all straight up and down, like 6 o'clock, and straight up and down with no chaser. Straight up, no chaser. You know what I mean? On the rocks, no chaser. Not even on the rocks. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. So all of y'all on the Diddy train, calling him the diddler and all of that. Yeah, that's cute and that's funny, but it ain't gonna be funny when somebody get to do that to you. They're gonna be able to do that to you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? What you gonna do? Did y'all hear that, lady? International Criminal Court. That's the end game. That's the end game. She said, once they get you in that system, accuse you of being a part of some sort of terroristic or criminal organization, and you're not, and you don't even have you can't even retain your wallet or your pocketbook or whatever to prove that you're not. Once they can't find a country for you to go to that is ex parte, meaning it's one-sided, meaning they don't really gotta be checking for you to go to another country, or it might be too expensive for them to harbor you over there. You know what she said? How long you gonna remain in jail or in prison? She said forever. That's right, forever. This serious, bro. And y'all playing, talking about no Diddy. I told my man Itnam years ago, they gonna wind up giving that man eternity in prison. And you know what's worse about it? Ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for him because of how he treated his artists, using their business model, using their corporate business model on how you treat artists. They really dog out artists. He really following what Clive and them told him what to do. But he should have been like 50 and get his politics from the curb. But he ain't really from the curb. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. Look, bro. Y'all need to start thinking for yourself. And start jumping off the train. Stop always just jumping on the train, attacking our people. Like R. Kelly and Bill Cosby and Diddy. Or showing Puffy Combs, man. They want to annihilate him. And look, if he get off of this, I'll be shocked. You know what I'm saying? I would be shocked. But so far, where's the racketeering? Where's the sex trafficking? Where's this racket? Where's the RICO? It's not no RICO. It was never a RICO. But they got you thinking that. Now they bringing out all these bunch of illicit, explicit, salacious acts that he may have committed in his private sector, you know what I mean? These sexual things that they did at what they call freak off parties, man. Look, man, you need to get it together and start thinking, do your own homework, do your own research, man, and stop letting them do your thinking, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'ma just wrap it up like that, man. They are after us all with this Diddy case, like they did Bill Cosby, freaking R. Kelly, and now P. Diddy. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have us locked up forever, man. So do your own thinking. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a blast past, while now, greater later. Live the life of your design. So you have a good time for a lifetime. Live the life of his design. So your life will be divine for the rest of your lifetime here and after. You know, guess who the artist, guess who the rapper, guess who the reluctant YouTuber coming back at you. AKA the Grand Ambassador Flash Dynasty here, lacing your brain with some incredible and glorious game once again, man. And on that note, I'm signing off. Grace, peace, and blessings, and love to y'all. Peace.